Do you have a job?
Yes, I do.
Do you feel that your job interferes with your schoolwork at all?
No, I don't think it does because with proper time management and being involved with so many activities, you have to be set with your time and management and being able to do everything right.
Do you think it's necessary for a high school student to have a job?
I think it gives good experience for future after high school, and I think for me it's a learning experience and it's fun. So.
Thank you. Do you have a job?
No. Yes, I do.
Yes, I do.
Why did you decide not to get a job?
I'd rather have fun at school and play sports than have a job right now.
My mom won't let me because she says it interferes with schoolwork.
Because I'm lazy.
Why not?
Well, where I work, I don't get that many hours, but the hours I do work are lots.
And has it interfered with your schoolwork at all?
Yeah, a lot.
In what ways?
Kind of failing.
Failing?
Yeah.
Sex is, if you love a girl, if you care about her, there's no way you would hurt her. Having sex early before marriage, you're gonna hurt her.
Pretty much the definition, just not having sex till you're married.
So what does the word abstinence mean to you?
Waiting till marriage to have sex, basically.
And do you think this is a real popular idea among teens right now?
Hell no.
No. All right. Do you think that if it was a little more popular among teens that there'd be a little less teen pregnancy rate?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. And do you think that fears about sexually transmitted diseases have any basis on abstinence at all?
Not really.
Why do you think so?
A lot of kids are actually smart enough to use protection.
So what does the word abstinence mean to you?
It means not having sex until you're married.
All right. And do you think abstinence is a real popular idea right now?
I think it's more popular than it used to be.
Okay. And do you think that if abstinence was even more popular an idea, that there'd be less teen pregnancy?
Probably, yeah.
All right. And do you think that fear of STDs or anything else that can result from sex has anything to do with the person's choice to be abstinent?
I don't think STDs have anything to do with that. I think it's more like a personal commitment to yourself.
And do you think that if ideas such as abstinence were more popular among teenagers today, that there would be like a less teen pregnancy rate?
Yes, of course.
All right. And do you think that if ideas such as sexually transmitted diseases, which aren't really ideas, but do you think if there was more of a fear of sexually transmitted diseases, that more people would participate in abstinence?
I think so, yes. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much.
And it gets really frustrating.
I don't know what to do about it.
Hi, and welcome to Generation Us. This is a teen opinion show made for kids by kids. I'm Ashley, and we're five of us are here from North Canyon High School.
Hi, I'm Josh. I'm a senior.
I'm Chantal, and I'm a junior.
I'm Dana, and I'm a senior.
I'm Justin. I'm a senior.
Today's topic will be abstinence. Abstinence is quite a hot topic in today's world or in high schools of today. Why do you guys think this is so?
I just kind of think that it's something that's being pushed upon us. I mean, really, most that you're going to hear about it from, like, it's not really something that teens go around preaching to everybody. The most people that say stuff about abstinence, especially to us, has been teachers and older people.
And religious people, religious people are just very strict on that. And then when you look in that their religions, like, why you think abstinence? No, there's a lot of big families in there. I don't want to pinpoint anyone like that, but abstinence is a really strong subject for teens these days because parents want their children to, grow up how they've raised them, and they don't want anyone to have any mistakes. And if they have sex before they're ready, then that might mess up the rest of their life.
Very true.
See, that's another thing, though, that I don't understand is when did it get labeled as a mistake? I mean, if you think about the generations that came before us, like I always think about like stuff that would happen like in the 60s or stuff that we always see with like the hippie people and all that kind of stuff. They never thought of it as a mistake as any of the sex issues that they always had. It only became a mistake when they started talking our generation. It's like all the stuff that like they think, oh, well, we did this, we probably shouldn't let them do it until they're married. I don't understand how that came about.
Well, there's a lot of responsibility behind, all that. There's age, there's AIDS, HIV, all sorts of stuff you can get for just having sex before you're ready. And if you don't do it, safely, you can die from it.
But they have like protection against that stuff. They have condoms, they have contraceptives for pregnancy, they have stuff like that. That's like saying you shouldn't like jump out of a plane even though you have a parachute. You're saying, well, there's a chance of this, so you shouldn't do it at all.
But even safe sex is not completely foolproof against sexual diseases.
Nothing's
against
completely
pregnancy.
foolproof, though. You can never be completely foolproof against anything.
I know
Right.
birth control, 99%, accurate. What about that 1%?
Very true. How do you guys feel abstinence or sex affects, or being abstinent? How do you think it affects like STDs, pregnancy, things like that?
The only way to be 100% safe is to wait. If you're not having sex, you're not going to get an STD or have teen pregnancy, or even just stuff like getting your feelings hurt or being attached to someone, and after that happens,
There's so much behind sex. How is it going to feel? Is it going to be the right time? Is it going to hurt? Is it, what's it going to be like when I get older? Will I regret it? Just all sorts of stuff behind it. It's a lot of responsibility for someone if they're young, like 15 or 16, having sex. It's a lot of responsibility they're probably not even ready to take on.
See, I agree with the responsibility fact, but another thing that's bothering me about that is who gets to decide when you're responsible enough? Because, like, there's no way you could possibly take everybody that's out there, all the teens in the entire planet, and say, okay, well, you're not responsible until you turn 18, or you're not responsible until... Because I know people that are 18, 19, 22 that aren't as responsible as my 13-year-old younger brother. There's just, you can't gauge that kind of stuff.
It's all it's maturity. It's really maturity. You know when you're ready to do something. You know when you're ready to take that first drink. You know when you're ready to go into that bedroom with that guy or a girl. And you want to be smart about it, though.
Yeah. How would any of you define abstinence?
Abstinence, I think it's just a complete control of your own life. Just I decide what's going to happen. I'm going to control myself, taking responsibility for my actions, keep myself under control.
So does abstinence necessarily mean before marriage, or to some of you, do you think it means before you're ready to have sex?
Well,
have it, or?
When I was a child, my parents always told me, wait until you're married. Just wait until you're married. And then as I got older, learn, experience, that definition doesn't apply anymore. It's like you can either do it before marriage, after marriage, not get married at all, and still do it. And it doesn't matter, really.
So they changed their views, or they became more lenient as you got older?
It just evolved, really.
Evolved.
They didn't, they were very liberal. My parents are very liberal, but you need to have that type of attitude against it, because anything can happen. Anything's possible.
And a big thing with the abstinence before marriage is people are always saying, oh, well, stay abstinent until you're married. And like the thing, I guess, that before you're married, because I guess that they're thinking that it means that you really love somebody if you get married. But with society the way it is now, and so many people you always hear, oh, well, these people are getting divorced, and these people are getting divorced. Getting married has almost become to where the love factor is not even becoming a big part. So especially with the being abstinent before you're married, I agree being abstinent up to a point. I mean, you shouldn't, I don't want to see 11-year-old, 12-year-olds out there like having sex all over the place. That's like kind of not right. But the whole until you're married thing, just because you marry somebody doesn't mean that you love them enough to where you want to experience that kind of act of something.
So is it right for an 11 or 12-year-old to have sex? If it's not right for them, why would it be right for like a 14 or 15-year-old or a 17 and 18-year-old?
Well, it's not for me to say it's right for.
I'm just asking, but personally, why would you think it would be
just because
better?
I know, like, especially some of my younger brother's friends that I see, I'm not like I'm trying to imagine them having sex, but like I can't imagine somebody like that just going out and doing stuff like that. It trips me out.
Understandable. Personally, like I grew up in a religious background, and I was raised like my parents pretty much. Even though I was brought up in a religious background, I was raised that I could believe pretty much what I want to believe, and I chose. I don't know. I've thought of being abstinent before marriage, but I don't know. I think peer pressure kind of comes into the picture, like.
Oh yeah, everyone's doing it now.
If your friends are doing it, how has that affected any of your views on abstinence or not being abstinent?
I pretty much didn't want to do it just because family. My whole entire family, they've made the choice to have sex before marriage and had a kid out of it. And I guess none of the contraceptives or anything that they tried worked. they all got married out of just because they had sex. It
For
wasn't
the
because they
wrong
loved
thing.
each other.
I mean,
yeah.
they got married for the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Because they
So
had sex before marriage.
Exactly.
Like I said, okay, my parents, they ended up having me before they were married. They moved in together before they were married, and it was completely against their parents' ideals too. So they like never told them that they got together and got married and stuff. And I happen to think that I turned out pretty good, but it's just a personal thing. Some people disagree. Anyways, the whole with like the religious backgrounds and stuff like that, that's a main thing that a lot of people do is because their religion says against it, or because their parents say against it. Like personally, when it's come up, the only reason that I've stayed abstinent so far is just that I haven't met anybody that I'd like to not be abstinent with anymore. I mean, most of the people that I meet, especially like if we're at a party or something, there's always going to be that girl or guy who comes up to you really wasted who's into doing whatever. And I'm just like, I don't want that to be how it is. I don't know. I kind of want it to be more than just some drunk thing at a party.
So, anyways,
Come on, yo.
basically, all right. We'll be right back. There'll be a commercial break after that. Hi, and welcome back to Generation Us. Today's topic is abstinence again, and how do you guys think that the media affects how does the media affect your views on abstinence or not being abstinent?
I think the media plays a major role in teen sexuality. You see it all the time. You see, people having sex, but it doesn't show the effects after it. It doesn't show if they ever get pregnant,
They show the good side of it all. That's what they show. They don't show the reality of it all. They try to make it as TV. They make it a fantasy for you.
Why do you
It
think?
looks picture perfect.
Picture perfect, yeah. It's just a big old fantasy. That's what TV is. There's commercials that tell you, there's signs everywhere, there's public advertisement everywhere for abstinence and wait until then, or do you want to look like this when you're 18 or something like that. It's all over the place. And
yeah, that's another thing. Have you guys seen the public service announcements on television about abstinence, and how does that make you feel?
In general, I kind of think that the public service announcements are just kind of something that we should put on because we think it's going to help. Honestly, everybody's seen stuff on TV oh, well, they're telling me not to do this. Do you really think that some teens can be sitting at home? They're going to be going, what? I can have a baby from having sex. Oh, I'm not going to do that anymore. That doesn't happen. Teens with our invincibility attitude that we all have, and you can't even act like we don't because we all think that we're impervious to everything. And it's not like we're going to be watching this and everyone's like, I'll never have a baby, or I'll never, whatever we're seeing on TV. It just doesn't happen. They're not effective.
they're just there to make the public happy. Some don't want to pinpoint, but religious people, they fundraise just to get a commercial on saying, don't have sex, wait. It's just, I don't know, it's just a big old little scam they have going on just to put it on there to please them, really.
So do you guys think that music videos and TV shows and MTV, do you think they try and portray sex as a good thing? And why would that be?
I think the biggest one, especially with the music videos, especially if you look at, depending on the type of music you listen to. Because, you're not going to watch some country one that's looks like some kind of, one guy and three chicks having some kind of real hot sex scene there, buddy. But, if you look at some of the newer hip-hop or the newer rap, that's kind of new age music that's taken hold nowadays. Everything you watch now has sex in it. Kid shows have sexual references in there. Shows like Dawson's Creek and stuff, they're always dealing with, should I have sex with this guy, or blah, blah, blah.
Should I wait? And it's just, like I said, it's a big old fantasy on TV. And when you if you compare a TV show like Dawson's Creek to an MTV video, there's totally a difference between it all. Dawson's Creek is a little bit more calm, PG-13, and then you go to an N17 MTV a video of people, don't barely wearing clothes and just doing obscene gestures and all. It's just, I don't know. It's really.
But like to stand up for the, I don't want to be completely against video because I love watching music videos. I mean, it's a great thing. MTV is like my god. But the big thing with those is like you're always seeing that stuff, but it's not like you're gonna be sitting home watching it and go, yeah, I want to try that. If I sit back, drink at a 40, I can have like 4 women at once. Nobody thinks that either. I mean, I'm not saying that it doesn't glorify it because it does. I mean, everything uses sex. Sex sells is like the whole big TV advertising thing. But like, it's not. I'm not saying that, oh, well, we should take all sex out, because that wouldn't help either. Because then we'd just be trying it more, because then, well, we don't get to see it on TV. Now I guess we're going to have to try it ourselves kind of thing. So it's just something else that you got to think, too.
Do you feel that there's more shows and commercials on TV promoting sex than there is saying not to do it?
Most shows, they are geared towards your appealing. Like they're geared towards you. They want to get you into listening and watching their video, their show. They want you to keep their attention, They want you to watch and say, ooh, that's cool. Keep watching that. I'm going to keep just watching.
So you think if people see sex on television, that means that, that they're going to have a higher interest in the television show?
Probably not so much their status if they engage in sexual activity. That just they need to feel a part of. They need to be in the in crowd. They need to feel a part of the rest of the gang. Everyone's doing it, so why can't I be a part of it?
Right. And that's another thing. How does status, or how does being abstinent or choosing to have sex, how does that affect status in high school?
It's not a real popular thing nowadays. I mean, there's not that many people who are sitting back at school going, yeah, man, I haven't had sex ever. I'm so cool. And, like, everyone's all giving them high fives or whatever. I mean, it's obvious. You go to school and there's going to be people talking about, oh, the wild weekend they had last night, or how great this guy was or this girl was or whatever. Yeah. I mean, they're always talking about that.
I haven't got laid
in
5 minutes. How about you?
I know. It's
really.
like, oh, well, it's just something that goes on at school. I mean, there's people there who are going to make stuff up because they don't want to feel like bad around their friends because, oh, well, they're doing it. It's got to be cool. I guess I better lie.
But some people some people lie, like you said. They lie just to cover up, I'm abstinence, but I'm not going to tell that. I'm just going to go along with it. They're going to be talking about what they did last night and you go, really, yeah, I've done that. And it's all in the peer pressure, really, on your status of everything.
Yeah, I've noticed that I don't think just because if you have sex you're cool, but in a lot of minds it seems to me more the male side of male sex.
Sure, bash us guys.
Is a little more towards well, I don't know. It's for girls. Sometimes I think that if girls do it, they're considered
sluts.
Yeah, kind of slutty, and if guys do it, they're the man. But I don't know why do you guys think that's true?
I disagree completely.
You could disagree? All right.
I've sat in many a class hearing 3 girls behind me talk about, oh, how blah, blah, blah they did to this guy. It's not. I'm sick of hearing this image all the time where it's like, oh, guys are just out predatoring these sweet, innocent little Catholic schoolgirls that are sitting at home doing their homework. That's bull. It's completely wrong. Because there's as many girls out there who are trying to get sex from guys as there are guys trying to get it from girls. It's just the way that it is.
But I'm just saying, if you hear about a girl having sex and a guy having sex, do you think it's totally equal? And
if they keep talking about the same guy in one thing, no. If she's sitting there going, yeah, see, then there was Ted, and then after that I hit Tim, and then after Tim I moved on to Adam, and Adam was definitely the best of the then yeah. But most of them, like, I hate eavesdropping on people, but like when I'm listening to them in class, it's like they're just talking about how they were doing something one night. It's like, okay, so it's not really that huge of a deal. It's been blown way out of proportion. So
I mean, some people make up stories just to make them look good. That's the whole part of lying. Like, yeah, I did this such and such last night, and I was with Ted, and then Frank. Was that his name? I don't remember. But anyways, yeah, it's just a whole big lie. They try to cover themselves, really.
Why do you guys think people try and lie about that? Do you think it's about being cool, or
maybe in their childhood they wanted to get attention as they're little kids, and they just learned to keep getting attention. They wanted to be noticed, be a part of, have friends. They didn't want to be alone. They just had to be around people that knew what they were talking about. Want to feel noticed.
I think in high school people are always judged about, having sex, and it gets around the school. There's people that talk about it, and, you look at people different when you hear about stuff, and it'll get around. I think that's, your personal business.
I think another big thing is just how people try to talk to you about it. I mean, like, especially with my parents, like I remember the whole little talk thing that everybody gets where their parents come in and, oh, okay, this kind of thing. It really depends on how your parents try to relate to you. Like, my parents are cool. They've always been there. They've always supported me no matter what I'm doing. So I would listen to them. But especially with how people are nowadays, a big thing among teens is to try to be the whole rebellious thing that's going on. And so, like, if their parents come up to them and they're like, okay, don't have sex, they're like, sweet, I can take off my parents by going and having sex with a bunch of people. It's just a thing that they're trying to lash out against people, and that's why it's become, like, such a, just everything you do can turn around and backfire on you now. With that
Parents should be more understanding that this is not when they were a child. Because when they were a child, everything was totally different. Something was either cool then and it's not so cool now, and it's parents have a real big impact on whether you choose to have sex or not.
Well, most parents, they don't even bring up the subject up. They think, oh, my son's an angel, my daughter's an angel. They're not going to get involved in that. They're too good. You know, they're involved in sports. They're involved in school. They're going to be, they're fine. I don't need to talk
My
to
friends'
them.
parents are the exact opposite. They're just like, oh, I know that he does this, and all I do is just let him know that if he has to, he can talk to me. And I think that's cool. That's a big thing that kids just don't like talking to their parents about stuff. And if parents were a lot less do this and trying to tell them what they can and can't do, and we're just more like, okay, well, if you do this, you know, like, I'll be there for you to support you and that kind of stuff. I think a lot more kids would relate, tell them what's going on.
All right. That will continue this discussion after the break. Hi, welcome back to Generation S. Our topic today was abstinence. All right, let's have a final sum up of how each of us feel about abstinence and how the peer pressure affects us, how our parents affect us, our decision on whether or not to be abstinent. So I'll start off. Personally, I think that the media plays a huge role in the lives of teenagers and what their views are on sex and abstinence. I think that that they need to tone it down a little bit. I mean, it is everywhere. You change the channel and there's, I mean, yeah, even on shows that are meant for teens, there's things about, you know, them having sex and, oh, it's going to be the first time and, you know, oh, you're not cool unless you have sex. I really think that things like shows really need to kind of tone it down a little bit. Personally, it's just everywhere. So
I just sort of disagree with that because I'm a mama's girl, and my mom raised me as proper as she can, and parents have a big impact on how you grow up. I mean, there's some parents who abuse their children, and they end up growing to be abusive. There's some people, you know, who grow up to be perfect angel, not do anything, perfect criminal record, everything, and they just say, wait, we'll be there for you, but just wait for me, you know? And that's basically, parents have a big impact on everything.
All right, very anything, it's just got to be up to the person. When it comes down to it, all the stuff you see, all the stuff your parents tell you, all the stuff your friends are talking about, it's going to come down to whether or not you want to do something. If you want to do it, you're going to do it. If not, it's going to be up to you.
I think abstinence is important, either if you're waiting for marriage or till you feel you're responsible or in love. Either way, if you're not waiting, and, you know, there's going to be consequences to having sex, and you just need to be ready to face it. I mean, you never know what can happen.
Ultimately, it's up to the person's own decision. You need to be aware of all the things that can happen to you. Talk to your friends about it. Talk to parents, family, everyone. Just talk to them and make the right choice.
all right, thank you all for tuning in to us. Remember to look us up on azfamily.com.
And now if you'll all be quiet, we'll start the show.
My parents are such a drag.
I don't think my friends see where I'm coming from.
Just a lot of pressure on me right now.
And it gets really frustrating.
I don't know what to do about it.
Hey, welcome to Generation Us. This is a show by teens for teens. Pretty much we're discussing the topic today of working students. My name's Justin. All of my panelists today are from North Canyon High School, and I'm a senior.
I'm Ashley, and I'm a junior at North Canyon.
My name is Josh. I'm a senior at North Canyon.
My name is Dana, and I'm a senior at North Canyon.
I'm Chantel, and I'm a junior.
All right. Pretty much what I just want to start us off with is, do you guys have a job right now? And if so, why'd you get it?
I have a job. I work at a fast food place, or kind of fast food. I got it because I got a car about 5 months ago. I've been working for about 5 months, and obviously I have to make car insurance payments, and I have to pay for gas, and I just wanted like a little extra money. It was time I got a job. So.
My parents said if you don't work, you're not getting a job. It's like my choice was to work. I've been working ever since I was 15, 17 now. I've been working for 2.5 years practically, just trying to pay for that car off. They do the insurance because they thought it was too much for me to do if I had a car payment on top of that. So, yeah.
So pretty much you guys' job just to pay off stuff that you guys wanted?
Yeah, it's nice to have a little extra money every now and then too. It's nice to be able to go out to movies with your friends or go out to lunch and not have to bum money off people. So it's always a good thing.
All right. Do you guys think that do you guys really need the stuff that you have? Is that something that like teens nowadays have to have?
Most of the stuff, it's like a want and a need. Either you want that or you need that. Like I raised money from working and doing like 2 jobs at once. I was a scorekeeper and a ref, and I was doing many things to get more money, more income. And I had to think to myself, do I really want that? Do I really need that?
Was there stuff that you actually wanted, or was there something that you desperately needed, like something that you had to have?
Mostly I had to get just sports equipment.
Sports equipment?
Just stuff for my car.
Okay.
All good stuff.
Yeah, I think people get caught up in the money a lot. I mean, my last job I made a lot of money, but I mean, if you think about it, I don't think it's worth it. If you're working all the time, it's really stressful. You don't really have a lot of time to, do schoolwork and just have time to relax, and the money's not worth it.
That's a good one too. Something that I find a lot when I'm talking to people about their jobs is how it relates to their schoolwork. Do you really think that it affects your schoolwork enough to where a job might be something that teens shouldn't partake in?
Most of the time I'd find out what homework I had for the night and then say, oh, hey, I work tonight. Oh, I can't do that homework. Darn. Going to work. Be there for 6 hours. I'm going to get home at 10 o'clock at night. Oh, I have tons of homework to do. Great.
It's actually very stressful when you have a job because you took on a lot of responsibility when you have a job because you're basically going to work for 8 hours the most. Some people like to do a double shift and get 12 hours and then you've got homework on top of that. And if you're involved in school, it really conflicts. Like I do 3 sports, band, plus I have a job, and I babysit on the side. So I'm constantly active, and sometimes I wonder how I even do it. But it's a big old responsibility. My parents told me, you're gonna have to learn sooner or later, so learn young.
Yeah, that's the thing that was with me. Like I've had a lot of jobs. I don't know. It's not that I can't keep a job. It's just that I kind of like moving around a lot. They don't really like that in your applications. But the main reason that I ended up getting a job was that my parents were like, oh, well, it's going to be a lot of responsibility. And I like the responsibility that I got for stuff. My parents were like, oh, well, you're getting older, you need to assume responsibility, which is like every parent tells you that. And for some reason, jobs have been equated as being responsible for stuff. I like the money. I like to buy stuff. Money's like a great thing. But a question I've asked myself, I mean, is it really worth me going out there and spending the money to sacrifice my schoolwork?
I think it takes away from your social life because for the longest time, I didn't go out and do anything with my friends because I was either working to pay off my car, staying home doing my schoolwork like a good little girl, going to all my activities. The only really social life I had was when I was actually going to band practice, going to soccer practice. I didn't have any social life, and it was really depressing. So it sort of depresses you.
Can you really have a social life though without money? I mean, it seems like everywhere you go, this might just be me with my friends, but we like to go places where you have to spend money because like everything cool to do nowadays
Everything
costs money.
money.
There's nothing free. It's not like we go and hang at the park anymore. So it's like, can you even do that?
It depends how it is. If you're like me, a very active person, I think going mountain climbing is perfect. I think going, rollerblading for a day or go playing a sport activity at the park or something like that, that's not even too bad. Or getting involved with the YMCA, going have fun that way. There's different ways to do it without spending money. It just depends if you choose to do that.
Yeah. Did anybody tell you guys that you shouldn't be getting a job? Like, was there anybody who was, when you decided that you want a job, that told you, oh, you shouldn't get a job because it'll affect you this way?
A lot of my friends told me that, actually. A lot of, I had older friends, and they told me that that it would really affect my social life, and that it would affect my schoolwork. And I mean, yeah, in some ways they were right, though. I mean, I still find a lot of time to hang out with my friends. It's all about time management. But like my schoolwork, I work on Monday nights from 3 to close, which is about 9 or 10 o'clock. And that leaves me, and I get out of school at 2, so that leaves me absolutely no time to do my homework on Monday nights. So I would have to finish it all in class, or it's very hard to manage. But yeah, a lot of my friends did tell me that, and I don't know, my parents were more for it, but they did say there was disadvantages to having a job too.
A lot of people put their job before their social life. I have a lot of friends who don't go out for any more sports because they're working now and they need the money to pay off such and such, and it's actually kind of sad that talent is being wasted because they're going to work. You don't really need to work right now. You want to live. Really, parents took on a responsibility having you, and they should really raise you until you're 18 when they don't have control of you anymore.
At my last job, I worked 6 hours a day, plus I had school, 7 hours a day. And it got to the point where my family and my friends were just telling me to quit because it got so stressful, and I kind of wanted to stay with the job because the money was really nice. I was making like $2,000 a month. But that's when I realized it's not worth the money. And even my friends and my family are telling me to quit your job.
See, I don't know whether my friends really, all of them work, so they can't say anything. I rarely see my parents. The most I get from my parents is, hi, how are you? Okay, good, bye. That's the conversation I get with my parents because I'm never home. I'm out doing something, trying to establish my social life, trying to work to pay off such and such, getting ready for college, being a senior. So much is going on.
Yeah, as soon as a job starts affecting your life, your friends, your family, everything, your schoolwork, that's when you need to say, hey, I need to stop this and get back together, get back to reality.
I think it depends on the person. I mean, there's some people that need to work for the money. And, there's some people that can go to school every day. They can budget their time to do their homework and go to their job. But there's some people, that
depends how
it's too much for them.
It depends how disciplined you are. You have to be hard on yourself. I have to do this, be organized. You want to be organized. Otherwise, it's going to be totally chaotic and you won't get anything done. And you end up slacking on your schoolwork, not even be able to graduate, probably get fired from your job. Probably have to go seek help because you're going this mad depression. It's just for getting a job,
All right. Well, we're going to cut to commercial break real quick. Try to hold these thoughts, get a couple more opinions on this. We'll see you back here on Generation Us. Hey, welcome back to Generation Us. What we're going to do right now is we're going to show you a little clip of some students at a local high school and see what their opinions on jobs and school have to be.
Job.
No.
Do you feel that having a job would interfere with your school performance?
Probably because I wouldn't have enough time to do all my homework, because I do have a lot of homework.
Do you have a job?
Yes, I do.
Do you feel that your job interferes with your schoolwork at all?
No, I don't think it does because with proper time management and being involved with so many activities, you have to be set with your time and management and being able to do everything right.
Do you think it's necessary for a high school student to have a job?
I think it gives good experience for future after high school, and I think for me it's a learning experience and it's fun. So.
Thank you. Do you have a job?
No. Yes, I do.
Yes, I do.
Why did you decide not to get a job?
I'd rather have fun at school and play sports than have a job right now.
My mom won't let me because she says it interferes with schoolwork.
Because I'm lazy. That's just with some local students' ideas about jobs. A big thing that, like, especially when I'm talking to my friends, like, we always talk about our jobs. And I always ask them, like, why they ended up getting their job. And they're like, oh, well, I needed it so I could get a car. And then, like, I'll ask them why they had to get their car. And they're like, well, I need a car so I can get to work. And it just seems like a circle that they've done just so they can get more stuff. And it seems like stuff that they don't really need, but it's just something that because, like, other people will have it that they think they need to get it themselves.
Well, when I got the idea I was going to get a car, you know, I would save my parents a whole lot because I'm so involved in school. They had to worry about picking me up, dropping me off. I would sit at school for literally 3 hours before I even got picked up because I lived 15 miles away. There's no way I'm walking. And I couldn't carpool because no one lived out there, and it was very hard for me. So that's what encouraged me to actually get a car and get a job so I can pay off the car.
The only reason I got my job was to pay off my car, basically. And the only reason, like, I needed one right at that time because it was soccer season and I could only have a weekend job, and that was the only job I could find that had weekend positions, or it was flexible with the hours that I needed. But I don't know, like, sometimes I think that I really need a car, but sometimes it's, you know, kind of just a luxury. Like, it takes me to school, it gets me to work. If any of my friends ever need rides, I can give them rides. It takes me everywhere. It takes me to places. I can go and visit my sister in college. I can drive all over the place. But then again, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of just a luxury. Like, it's just a want thing. But.
Something that I've noticed, though, especially with jobs, and that the main conflicting things is going to be jobs and school. Everyone's like, oh, I don't have enough time for schoolwork, or I don't have enough time for school for jobs. Do you think that teachers should be a little more lenient because students are in school, that they shouldn't be assigning so much stuff if they know that the student works? Or do you think that it's just completely the student's job to be able to work their time?
It's the students, because the teachers have no control of our lives, and it's our choice whether or not we get a job. And if we know we're going to be taking on that responsibility, we know we have to do that. If we knew we had to go do our homework, then why are we getting a job when it's going to conflict? You know, so teachers really shouldn't have any sympathy on us.
Yeah, I think the students need to set their priorities straight. I mean, you need to do your schoolwork. If your job's interfering with that where you can't do it, then that's when you know that it's not working out. I mean, your part-time job when you're 16 isn't going to lead you to your future, but your education will. I think that always should come first.
If you get a job, you have to think about what's going to go with that job. Like, how am I going to get there? How much is it going to cost? What am I going to get paid? Who's going to be there to help me in case I need a ride? Or what can, like, just a bunch of that stuff.
I pretty much agree with you guys on the fact with, like, okay, well, students need to be able to work their time around the school. But with the way society is now, it seems like there's certain things that you have to have, and like, not everybody's parents has, because there's a lot of people whose parents don't have a lot of money, that they need to buy clothes, they have to buy their own stuff. And those are the people that, like, they need a job. It's just stuff that they have to have.
Well, see, I do that to show my parents that I'm independent, because ever since I got my job, I've been starting to pay for everything, down to a haircut. I've been paying for everything. And my parents see that I'm taking on that responsibility and I'm becoming more independent, where they can trust me more and more. And so when I'm out in college, they're not going to worry about me because they know they did something right by making me go get a job, because it's a whole new experience altogether.
I noticed you guys earlier were talking about the time thing, how you guys are working until 10 and you don't have time for homework. My job works late too. I mean, I know the same thing that you guys are doing, being a waiter and stuff. I have to work pretty late hours. But when I get home, it's not like if I wasn't working that I'd end up going to bed at 10. I mean, I go to bed pretty late. I don't know if you guys go to bed late, but I go to bed late anyways.
Yeah.
So I do have time that I can still do that. But it seems like that when I'm talking to my teachers at school about jobs, that they just completely have no care whatsoever about them. I think that they need to kind of understand at least that there are times when you do need to have a job. You need to have that kind of money, especially with this stuff. The things that you do with your friends, you need to have the money for that. And your parents aren't going to give you the money, no matter how much you beg or like try to get money.
Teachers try to keep a relationship between you, and if they got involved, you know, that could lead to something I don't know, something illegal or whatever, I don't know. But teachers, you know, they do what they can to provide anything for us, and some of them are understanding, some of them are hard, and they just, you know, too bad. That's your life, and you chose that. So
I think teachers are there to push us and make us realize that we need to work hard to get what we want, and to try and make us think before we do things.
What about the jobs that we have now? I mean, when you talk to most people about the jobs that they have, a lot of them work in fast food, they're working real low-end style jobs. Do you think that when we go to get a job that the problem is that they're working so many hours because of how, like, the types of jobs that they're doing?
It all depends. If you're doing a fast food job, say like for McDonald's, they require a lot of hours so you can get training and do all that stuff, and it's nowhere, you can't really go anywhere. If you really wanted to go somewhere, you have to look behind fast food. You have to sort of get in the newspaper, look at what you can do. And I know there's not a lot out there for us, but we can always take classes to learn more about it. Sure, that costs more money, but there's ways of finding that money, you know. It's not...
But how do you get the money to pay for the classes if you haven't worked yet? Like if you're trying to find a job that is better paying and everything, how do you get the money to pay for the schooling to go to those classes?
Well, that's where you have to get a fast food job. You just go and pay for those classes, and doing something behind scene, and you just go and get that higher experience while you're doing something so petty and doesn't really affect you, and go get the experience, go get your job. Then you'll be making the money you want, and you won't have to worry so much, and then you'll have it better for your future. Because if you wanted to be, say, a newscaster and you wanted to work in the station or whatnot, go get an internship. Work under someone. You know, it's not that hard to do that. It's whether you can control yourself to even get yourself out there.
Yeah, there are options out there for you if you just look for them. You have to look for the jobs that you want.
Everything's not handed to you.
Nothing is handed to you. That's what we need to learn.
But some people do get stuff handed to them, and that just makes me mad when they get handed something. I just got a BMW. Really? Why? My parents decided I needed a car. Okay. Are you going to pay insurance? Are you going to pay for that? No. What are you talking about? Don't you get a job so you can pay for that? No. Just when people get handed stuff, that really irritates me. It's just...
But, like, just to get back to, like, the school idea where you're having a job and you're in school and then you're constantly trying to balance your hours, if you could, like, just take away all the bills that you had, if you could get rid of your car and get rid of all the stuff, would it be worth not having any money and just focusing on school? Or is that even, like, a possibility now?
In the end, it will be worth it because you will have that education and you will exceed further and excel higher than most, people who are going, who have a job. And, I mean, there's programs in school like IB, AP classes, but those people have such a high stress level, they'll probably end up going to see a psychologist before they're 20 because of all that. And it's something is really hard.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and take another break here. Hope to see you back soon, Generation Us.
It's home from work we go. Hi-ho, 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 hi-ho.
Hi, welcome back to Generation Us. So, like, pretty much to wrap stuff up, do you think that the trade-offs for having a job and getting the money, or to be at school and, like, getting your education, or even to further your way through college, do you think that it's worth having a job nowadays?
Keeping up your status, keeping up like your income, trying to keep money is really good for you as an individual, but in the long run, you're hurting yourself because you're not getting an education.
I I disagree with that because I think that having a job, I mean, you're earning money for college. I know every week out of my paycheck, I take money, put it in the bank for college, and I still keep up my schoolwork. I keep up basically everything I do. I get A's and B's. So I think that you just have to have proper time management. You have to look into what job you're getting and really look into a job that has the best hours possible for you.
Because I work, I do have a lot of responsibility on myself, and I have to pay things off, but I try to set money for college, but with all the bills I've got going on, I can't do it, so I have to find alternatives. So I joined the Army. I'm Army Reserves, and they're going to pay for my college, so that's something I don't have to worry about for my education. So I can concentrate on making money, pay my bills, survive, survival of the fittest. That's what it's all about, really.
I think having a job while you're in school, while in high school, is a good practice, but I mean, I just always think that school should come first. It's good to, try to keep a job, and it's a good way to learn how to, budget your time for both things, but I think that when it starts interfering with school, then that's when it's not really worth it.
Personally, my opinion on it is just that it's almost not even possible to not have a job nowadays while you're in school. It's just that the expectations of you for stuff that you're going to want, for stuff that everybody else has. I know it's kind of wrong to say, oh, well, everybody else has this, you need to have it too, but that's kind of the way it goes. And oh, people have a car, and teens need a car. You're not going to be able to call your best friend. I'm like my taxi service for all my friends. They're always calling me up, oh, drive you to the mall, drive me over here, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, which is cool because I get money for them from it, so that's kind of a job too. But you really need the job, you need the money nowadays. Just it's almost really impossible to go through life just not even life, just through high school alone without having that kinds of money. It's just something that you really need to have.
I've worked for a year. I had school and work every day, and I have so much, I have a lot of my money saved up, and that's why I decided to quit. I needed time to relax and have a break, finish off the school year, really concentrate on education, getting all my grades up, because I have money in the bank, and
high school is expensive nowadays. You've got so many fees to pay out for sports. You have so many other fees for your classes. It's very expensive to graduate. It is very expensive to graduate, and it's going to be hard to get through high school without a job because you need the income somewhere, and your parents aren't going to always be there for you.
All right. Well, thank you guys for all your opinions. It was really good talking about this kind of thing. And don't forget to check us out on ArizonaFamily.com. Thanks for joining us.